Good morning. Welcome to the saw shop. Well, see, we got a table full of goodies here today. I had a couple of things I want to talk about real quick. Well, I oftentimes get questions about what's the right size saw and which saw do I prefer. And so on the table here, what you're gonna see, these are my 60cc range saws. They're anywhere from 57 to 65 in that range. I call them I consider that the 60cc class. Through the years, let's see, all these saws except for these two 5 series right here have been fully ported. And I'll introduce briefly what they are. This is on the right, Stihl 034 AV 57 cc's, fully ported, running a 20-inch bar, full comp. This is a Stihl MS 310 59 cc's, fully ported, 3/8 full comp, 20-inch bar. All these have 20-inch bars, 3/8 full comp. Next one is a Stihl 034 Super and fully ported. This is a Stihl MS 361 59 cc's, fully ported. This is a Stihl MS 362 59 cc's. It's fully ported. This is a Husqvarna 555 Professional. It is 60cc or 59, 60 cc's. It is stock with a ported muffler. This is a 562 XP. I believe it's like 60 cc's. Stock cylinder head, ported muffler. And this is a 360. This is a 365 special. Fully ported. So. And this is 65 cc's. That's my 60cc lineup. And so what do I think is the right chainsaw? Well, it's a two-part question. If you're the only person if you're ever going to use it just for your use, which means the occasional firewood, the occasional a limb blowed down in the yard, a dead tree blew over in the backyard, I gotta get it cut up where I can get it put in the woods or whatever. I would probably lean towards the 50cc chainsaw range just because, I mean, they're gonna be cheaper. You're not using it very much. Also, there's some really good options in the 50cc range. Maybe like a 550 XP or a 261 Stihl. Either one of those will get the job done. But on the other side of that, if you want a saw that you can do those same things with, but so, you know, if a neighbor calls and say, I got a tree that blew down in my yard, could you help me come clean it up? Or a farmer down the road says, I got a big tree blew across my cattle fence. I need to help get it up. You mind coming help me? Or something like that, where you don't know what you're walking into. In your mind, you think, okay, it's a tree. You know, most people think, you know, trees this big around, we're going to go cut it up. But you may get there and that tree may be that big around. All right? Or bigger. You just don't know. So, in that case, if somebody ever calls me and I'm going to help them sight unseen, I'm usually going to grab one of these saws right here. And the reason is if I get into something a little bit bigger, I mean, the 50cc will tackle it. But I also don't want to wear my junk out trying to use it in a manner that it's not really intended, or to be unsafe in that same manner. Because trying to use a small saw for a much larger project, a lot of times runs into you making some shortcuts or doing some things you probably wouldn't normally do, and that's usually when injury occurs. But anyway, that's my answer. I would go one of these 60 cc's. Any of these could get the job done. So kind of depends. You know, if it looks like if it's gonna be more dirty style work, I tend to look for the saws that are more the least value. So anytime if I'm cutting that, if it's gonna be possibly some dirt involved or getting down in there where, you know, just things that I like for my saws to look good. And so if I think they're might get roughed up a little bit, that's what this 310's for, and that's what I use this 555 for. They're probably the two least valued saws on this table, but that doesn't take away from their ability to run, cut, and sound good and look good doing it. But anyway, all right. Well, that's my answer to that. And so, you know, so in both, you know, in that stipulation, you know, that's what I would do. What do I prefer personally? You know, what I prefer and what I use is two different things a lot. Cutting firewood, you know, where you're out there for several hours at a time, a lot of times weight is a premium. I mean, you're stepping through limbs and climbing and maybe crossing fence rows. There's a lot of things go into it. And so, like I had said on the previous video, probably 80% of my firewood's cut with a 50cc saw. But that ain't the answer to the question. The answer to the question is, which do I prefer to run? And my preference is a 60cc class chainsaw. I have bigger ones. I have several 70cc's, but they get heavy and cumbersome, and what I would use them for is limited. But these right here, any of these saws, I could grab them and go. And I could use these for several hours and still be able to function afterwards. But with that being said, like I said, I cut most of my firewood 50cc chainsaws. If I go somewhere to help someone do it, you know, things like when I know I'm probably only going to be on the saw for an hour or less, then usually it's one of these right here that makes that trip. Now, what is my favorite chainsaw out of the bunch? Well, I have two. Probably my favorite is this 365 Special right here. You ask me why, I can't really tell you, other than it cuts really good, it's really strong, torque band is super nice, and it's still that, there's something about that a little bit older vintage style. I like these 3 Series. I just like the way they look and they're built. But the things run good. They sound awesome ported with a ported muffler. And so that's probably my favorite. My other one is at the top of the list too. Is let me grab it. Take this video. I don't have it on the table. It's Stihl MS 440. And I know the 440 needs no introduction. A great chainsaw. And you say, well, why is it better than that other one? And I probably just lean a little bit towards weight. Is probably the main thing. It's a little heavier, and when I step up in the 70cc class, I step up bar size usually and get up in a 24 or 25 inch bar stuff. And so that also adds some weight and balanceability and stuff like that to it. But anyway, this is so let me show you my favorite 365 Special, built in 1998, and runs like a dream, and I love to use it. All right, have a good one.